So this is our designer Chris working on one of our skeleton rings. So what exactly are you doing right here, Chris?
Well, right now I'm finishing up the skeleton, and I mirrored him over to this side so I can mate him up with the ring model that we've drawn earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I highlight it, move it all down into position. Move over here, look at it, make sure it's looking good from all angles. Details showing up good.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to make it now.
Okay. So what's the next step?
Well, we'll download this file and we'll bring it over to our Arius machine.
Okay.
Use this machine right here, and that computer is going to tell this computer how to grow the wax
Okay.
model.
So it's kind of like a printer at home, but more high tech, maybe.
A lot more high tech, yes. It uses laser to pinpoint and grow a solid product. The ring looks exactly like the finished product.
Mm-hmm.
And this will take about 6 hours. We load this onto the machine. I should have known how to do this before I... I didn't do that. Yeah, you might want to cut, because this is weird. How does that go? There you go. I'll turn the machine on. This will take about 6 hours. So while we let this run, then we'll show you the finished model as soon as it's ready.
Great.
Now we've come up with all the detail in the ring that we designed on the computer. The computers have worked together and produced a very close model. This resin, in order to turn it into plastic, a plastic model that we can use, we're going to have to cure it. And this device right here, we lay it in here, and this will use light to cure it. It takes 100 shots of light to harden it, and we hit the start button, and you can see it hits it pretty fast. That's 100 shots in about 15 seconds. The model is cured. We have a usable model that we can cast. We're going to take this into the shop, and I'll spray it up and show you how we turn it into a solid metal object. Alright, here we are in the shop. We're going to prepare this wax for investment. First, we're going to add a wax sprue. This is a gateway for the metal to get into our model.
What's investment?
Well, investment is a ceramic powder that mixes with water, and we pour it over the wax mold and the model on this base. When it hardens, we pull the base off, and the wax model will be encased in the investment with an avenue for our gold to shoot in. We'll go to that as soon as we get it sprued up.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll let that cool a second.
So you just melted that little wax wire right onto that ring then?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, sticks right to it.
Okay.
It's all ready to go. And we'll take this into the casting shop
Okay.
and invest it, and I'll meet you in there.
Okay.
Now that our wax is ready, it's glued to the base, we're going to mix the investment. We measure these pretty precisely, so that way we have a uniformity of product. Everything turns out the same. You add your investment powder and our water, and we're going to turn the mixer on. Let that go about 30 seconds, and we'll pour it over our wax model. We're going to allow this to, we're going to then go to the vacuum table, which will pull all the bubbles out and help that vacuum stick to the wax. All that detail that we drew in that wax and designed on the computer, we want it to turn out in your mounting also.
So the purpose of the vacuum would just to get the bubbles out?
Yeah, because this mixing right here is getting a lot of bubbles into it. and it also helps it stick to the wax. Any cavities or places where maybe there's an air bubble inside, it'll pull that out, and you're not going to get little bubbles on your mounting. So that's gone long enough. We'll turn this up. We'll take this over the investment table, which is over here, and we'll pour it over our wax mold. Put this on the table. This bell jar keeps the vacuum contained in that area. Turn on the vibrator on the table, and that again helps all the bubbles pop to the top, helps the investment stick to the mounting that much better. Once this goes for about 30 seconds, see it start to bubble. And that's, again, the air coming out of the investment. Release the vacuum. Turn off the pump, the vibrator. Pull the jar off.
Cut.
Alright, now that our investment is hardened, we have this rubber base that we attach the model to. Pull that off, and you'll see that's our avenue. This is the wax mold is attached to the end of that. It's in this hardened plaster. It's pretty hard, but we're going to make it even harder. We're going to put it in the oven, and to do that, we'll set up the oven, and we'll open it up. We're going to put it in. This will take about 12 hours. What that does, melts the wax out and the resin mold that we put inside there. This, it also hardened the investment. The wax model, when it melts away, it'll leave a perfect impression inside that plaster that looked exactly like the resin that we made earlier. This is going to take about 12 hours, so we'll want to take a break and we'll be back. Alright, now we're back. We got our wax is all burnt out. Reach in, pull out our flask. Now this thing is very hot. Bring it over to our casting machine, which is vacuum assisted, induction heated in an argon atmosphere. Argon replaces all oxygen, keeps everything, all the gold good and clean. What we'll do is we close this up, got our metal in there. Now this, the heat will kick on automatically. We'll turn on the vacuum pump to help out. You'll see, pulls all the oxygen out of the machine, and when the gold gets up to temperature, melted, we'll pour it into the flask. It runs right inside. We'll wait a few minutes for the gold to harden, because right now it's liquid. Remember, it's filling up that cavity that we made inside the investment with all that resin and wax. And as soon as that's done, we're going to let it cool. We'll quench that, get the ring out, and I'll show you the solid model. Alright, I brought our quenching bucket out because we're going to take this hot model out of this flask. And again, our investment's real hot. We're going to crack all that away. So, quench it in here. Give it a little help. Oh, this is hard as a rock. Alright, now that we've broken it out of the flask, you notice we still have a lot of the investment still into a lot of the detail. So I'm going to take this into the shop and we'll clean it up and I'll saw up the sprue and we'll show you the next step. Alright, now that we've broken this out of the flask, the investment, as you can see, the mounting, a lot of the details showing. We still have a lot of investment into the nooks and crannies, so we're going to take this into the shop, clean it up, and I'll show you the next step. Alright, now that we've cleaned all the investment out, as you can see, a lot of the detail shows really nicely on that ring. We cannot take it straight to the buffing wheel because we lose a lot of that detail. So we have what's called a magnetic pin tumbler. Turn the power on. The magnets will spin around and these little needles will hit against the ring, producing a pretty clean, polished product without messing up our detail. Put the ring in, lean on, hit the start button. As you can see, starting to spin. Needles again are hitting against the ring. Let that go. Takes about an hour. When we get done with this, we'll have a bright, shiny ring. Show it to you then. Alright, we've taken our ring out of the pin tumbler. As you notice, it's pretty shiny, pretty bright. A lot of the detail still intact on our skeleton ring. Now we're going to sit down at the bench and put our diamond into the center and set it. Alright, we're going to use our drill here to cut a seat for this diamond into our ring. Seat's pretty even, and if you notice, the burr is the same shape as a diamond. So, and we'll take the diamond, drop it, of course. Hang on just a sec here.
Okay.
Alright, now that we have our diamond snapped into place, we use a prong pusher to push the prongs over to the stone. The metal actually holds the diamond into place. What we're going to do is we're going to bend this so it looks like the hands of the skeleton are actually holding the diamond. Alright, now that our prongs are pushed over the diamond and holding it tightly in place, we have to do our final filing and polishing on the ring. First thing I'll do is file the prongs smooth. Again, leaving plenty of metal over the stone and make it smooth enough that it won't catch on anything. Then I'll use rubber wheel. Smooth it down even more. Now we're ready to take our ring into the polishing room, put the final polish on it. Now I've taken it through all the polishing process. We've got it near finish, inside and outside the ring. The ring now goes to inspection, where it gets inspected. Then it'll get boxed up and mailed to you.
Now the ring's been inspected, it's passed inspection, and we're going to box it and wrap it and deliver it to the customer in our showroom. We also then can ship anywhere in the world the same way. So here's a finished ring, and see, didn't take too long after all.